Well, hello. Here, show you Big Bird and bus stop right here. You have a Big Bird bus stop. Talking about the so far as the experiences, so far as waiting for a bus stop, waiting for the school bus at the bus stop. But you have it to where you have it, which I went ahead and included the colorings for. So far as you got the bus stop right here, and then along with say the driveway, or it could be like so far with the with subdivisions, and along with the you say is street lots or whatever you want to call it, and then along with the details about the bus routes. But first of all, is that I would include right here is that the bus stop, that of course is that the two young ones, it's like sisters that or it could be a brother, it could be brother or sister or cousin, whoever that is waiting out at the bus stop. That more likely that you be waiting out at the bus stop, and a lot of times a lot of kids would wait out at the bus stops. A lot of times it's between kindergarten and fifth grade, or it could be junior high students, or it could be middle school students or high school students. But I remember that in the house where I grew up, that there was a bus stop right there in the yard where you just had to walk maybe a few steps down to catch the bus, the school bus. And then a lot of times that just getting there on time, is one of the parts which I thought that it was like was I say difficult to a lot of us, maybe not all of us, to a lot of us, but getting out there on time. The bus sometimes the bus may show up early, or they may show up later, but the few times that you talked about right here is shown on here. A few times that whenever I would go out to the bus stop, and sometimes I would be out there, the first one out there, or I would be out there alone. It's like that was probably around the time I was in high school. But the couple of times that you go out there, a lot of times that it'll be like bright and early in the morning, about 8-9 a.m. something like that. You go out there to the bus stop, and then a lot of times the grass is all green, and you say birds chirping, whatever it is. But you go out to the bus stop, and sometimes that you would there would be say kids say until the bus came, that they will be running around playing around, whatever you call it. And then you may have it to where that some kids that would walk to school, they catch the bus. But a couple of times whenever I would go out to the bus stop, that a lot of times is that that you would say that whenever I would go out to the bus stop, that this is what the weather would look like. That you get the sunrise right there, and along with say the dark skies. Like a couple of times I would go out to the bus stop, and it wasn't even daylight outside. It's like it wasn't even daylight outside. And that this is what what the morning would be like. A lot of times that was a lot of times during the high school years, that if I would go out there to the bus stop between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, that sun would not even be out. And then I would tell you that I have been waiting out there at the bus stop a few times, with a few other students, and it's like that you'll be staying out there at the bus stop. And in the real cold, sometimes it was the real cold temperatures. I would probably say maybe at least you say the 30 degree temperature. Yeah, say it could be 30 degrees outside, and you'd be staying out there. And a lot of times that they say this is to get out there early. If you gotta get out there early, to make sure that you bundle up. But for whatever reason, that this right here, I remember whenever I was younger, I think whenever I was in 3rd and 4th grade, that the bus stop a lot of times would pick me up right here in front of the house. You got the driveway right there on the street. The bus stop would come, and I remember my parents, when had videotaped me one time, had recorded me on tape, which don't no longer have that. But they had recorded me on tape catching the bus. The bus would come and they pick me up right here, and then it would leave. And then one time, parents caught me getting on the bus. Within I would say within 10 seconds, they would record me catching the bus. And then for whatever reason, they just start laughing about the way that it was filmed. But right here is that you got a picture of me right here, holding up as like a present that my dad gave me, And what you say is that, I don't know if that was from a book fair or whatever it was that he got for me, but of course that was me. And I really don't know. Say at one time, it's like most of my childhood, it's like I wore different kinds of glasses. You never wore contacts, but you have it to where, at least not that I know of, never had any type of contacts or clip-on, we would call it. But whenever I remember, bus stop for me, I guess we'd say, is either at the bus stop or here in the driveway, or it could have been that it's like on the side of the street that they would have all different types of bus stops. For most of my childhood, I remember that I would either walk to school if the school was in walking distance from wherever I relocated at, or I would take a taxi. It's like you get the taxi right there. But most of the time is that so far as with the bus stop is that you have it to where that I remember my parents would write down my bus stop route is it could be the BA route. It's like it could be for the BA route, and then I think one time it was like 4A, or it could have been 4C, something like that. Is it 4C? And a lot of times is that they would have it. We got the different bus routes right there, and the teachers a lot of times would say that to follow this person to the right bus stop if you're going to be getting on the right bus. But so far the details with the bus is you have it to where a kid would one or two kids, that one seat would sit about maybe 3 students, and a lot of times is that I remember whenever I get on the bus, a lot of times the seats on the bus will be full, and I remember a lot of times is that it's like we had to talk to the students about arrange it where there'll be enough room, but I would probably say that so far with riding on the bus is that it's like so far with the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. But the whole purpose, they say about a bus is that so far as a school bus is that the type of transportation that you have whenever you're much younger, that a lot of times is that you really don't want to get up early in the morning to get on a bus. And a lot of times, besides a school bus, it could be a city bus too, that a lot of times you probably don't want to get up at a certain time to be able to catch your ride, but more in order to be able to go somewhere and get something done, whatever it is. But your parents' orders. But you got the details about the school right here so far as parking along the bus routes. But I remember at one time that the buses had went on strike at one time, that they went on strike, and I would probably say a lot of students were all excited about that for whatever reason. And I think one of the reasons was basically about the fact that they didn't want to go to school, but then of course is that would know that the parents will be responsible for taking the kids to school. It's like I know my parents took me a couple of times to school, and way I would probably say is that if you're not going to go to school, then you might as well do your homework. Is that my parents didn't really give me homework too much to do, but more like is that this is it. So far, it felt like over say over school. It's like over school hours, or it could be after school hours. After school hours. Is they have it to where a lot of times the teachers would give you like a little a little report to do. It's like in say after school activity, or it could be a report. It says so far number 1, number 2, and number 3 is like what were your activities. What were your activities that you did during a time that you were off or whatever it was. But so far with Big Bird School Bus is to know that whatever the route is at the times that you would have to be there. No matter if it's a 5 a.m. or if it's 8 a.m. To know that so far with catching a bus is that you have some pretty good times other than that. But so far the past 12 years that whenever I rode the bus is that one of my best parts